G'day everyone. Before we hop into today's vlog, I just want to remind you to please hit that subscribe button. From now on, I'm going to be putting out daily online poker vlogs. We're going to be tracking my process as I play these 6 max online poker cash games 6 out of 7 days of the week. Make sure you hit subscribe so you get the vlogs as they come out. But for now, onto the vlog. G'day everyone, welcome back to the vlog. It is currently 6:30 a.m. here in Melbourne and I've just woken up. I'm getting ready for a big day of playing online poker. The plan for today is to play 1,500 hands of exclusively 1-2 online no limit. I was potentially considering mixing in one table of 2-5 last night, but I think I'm going to go against that plan and just play exclusively 1-2. It worked out so well for me yesterday and I don't really want to mess with that formula since it's not broken yet, so exclusively 1-2 today. So without any further ado, I'm starving, I need to get a feed in, let's cook. It's 7:30 a.m. right now and I've just grabbed in a full feed. That was a really tasty one, loving that breakfast. So feeling really hyped up and really ready to go play 1,500 hands of poker. To ensure I do play my A grade level across the 5 tables, I'm just going to keep that competitive mindset I had yesterday. Look for the mistakes my opponents are making, and then don't be afraid to go with that read and try and exploit them to the maximum, because that's the best way I'm going to make EV in these games. So without any further ado, let's get into it. Welcome back everyone. It is currently 4 p.m. here in Melbourne and I've just wrapped up my second poker session for the day. I was able to play a total of 4 hours and 53 minutes today, racking me up a total of 1,560 hands. So yet again, we do beat the 1,500 hand goal. In terms of results from this session, I'm pretty happy with them. I did end up winning 1,063 over the course of both sessions, which obviously I'm pretty stoked with. It's actually the second day in a row we've made more than 5 buy-ins after going back down to the 1-2 game, so all smiles around here the past few days. In terms of my gameplay grade from today's sessions, I'm going to go with a B+. I really do like a lot of the things I did during the course of today's sessions. I think for the most part I did keep that competitive mindset and I was really aggressively looking for mistakes my opponents were making and dialed in on what they were doing and how I could exploit it. But I think compared to yesterday, I was a bit more lethargic and I just wasn't doing it as well as I did yesterday. Sometimes I got a bit lazy or distracted by music or YouTube in the background or whatever, and my reads on my opponents weren't as accurately tuned in as they were in yesterday's session. And I think the largest reason I had such a big win today is just because I ran well in high EV spots, like you'll see later in today's hand history. But if I'm going to grade myself on a curve according to how well I ran, I'm definitely going to have to downgrade myself today after I did run so well. So that lands me on a B+ for today. Like I said, I did run very well across the course of today's sessions, particularly in the high EV spots, which if you're going to run well in any spots, of course you're going to take the high EV ones, but I think it's important even when you do run well to be critical of the decisions you made, because in the long run they might not be the right ones. And I think this next hand is a great example of how even when I did win a big pot, I potentially made a few mistakes along the way. So let's get into the hand. The action's on me under the gun and I have pocket kings. I go ahead and raise it up to 5. Then the action's on a loose passive middle position player. And they actually decide to go ahead and 3-bet to 15. And the action folds around to a tight aggressive big blind and they decide to cold call the 15. Then the action's on me here, and I think in this spot you definitely want to go ahead and 4-bet pocket kings for value. When a middle position loose passive player decides to go ahead and 3-bet, I actually think that's a strong range of hands, because if you think about it, a lot of the middling strength hands in their range, something like pocket 10s or 10-9 suited, jack 9 suited, whatever, loose passive players love calling with those hands pre-flop. So when they do go ahead and 3-bet, I think it's indicative that they do actually have a strong hand. And when we have the second strongest hand in poker, we can get value from that range by re-raising. And additionally, I actually think the big blind has a strong range of hands as well. Being that they're tight aggressive, I think they're going to go ahead and 5-bet pocket aces pre-flop. So I do think they have a bunch of like pocket jacks, pocket queens, ace king in their range, which obviously we'd love to get value from pre-flop. So I go ahead and 4-bet it to 45. And this is where things get really interesting, because the middle position player goes ahead and 5-bets it to 135. Gets to the big blind, they fold. Then the action's back on me, and to be 100% honest, with pocket kings here, this is a really gross spot. I actually think the worst option that I could choose here would be to go ahead and 6-bet. If I do 6-bet here, the chances we're going to get all in with the villain is very likely, and that's a problem with pocket kings, because when you get almost 300 big blinds all in pre-flop, I'm going to be up against aces pretty much every single time here, so obviously I do not want to do that. So I actually think 6-betting is the worst option out of all three. So now I have to choose between just calling and actually folding. And I do think there's a lot of merit to folding here, just because it really looks like my opponent has pocket aces. Obviously, I said they 3-bet a tight range to begin with, but the fact they've gone ahead and 5-bet beyond that, that range is just even tighter and even stronger. Obviously, we all know there's a lot of opponents out there who only ever 5-bet pocket aces, and I've actually talked about it on this vlog before, how in the 1-2 player pool, people have very, very tight 4-bet and 5-bet ranges. So obviously, I'm very concerned my opponent does have pocket aces. Having said that though, I decide to call here, and I'm actually pretty okay with this option, just because if my read that they do have pocket aces is wrong and they are overvaluing a hand like pocket queens or ace king, or maybe they even have pocket kings themselves when we're chopping, like I just don't want to fold my equity out on the hand pre-flop, so I do like calling. Additionally, if I did have pocket aces here, I'll probably call as well, just because I don't think I'm going to get action if I do 5-bet at all when I have the ace blockers, but that's for a whole different hand when I do have aces. I have kings here and I decide to call. So we go heads up to a flop in this 5-bet pot, and the flop is king jack 4 with 2 clubs. I told you I ran good today. The action's on me here, and I definitely want to go ahead and check it to the pre-flop aggressor. We're hoping they have pocket aces and they're going to bet it off here. Unfortunately, they decide to check back now. So we do still go heads up to a turn, which is the queen of diamonds. The action's on me here, and I do think there is some merit to just checking top set here. If my opponent did check pocket aces on the flop, I think it's very likely they're going to go ahead and bet it on the turn. Additionally, pre-flop I said I was hesitant to think that they would 5-bet pocket queens pre-flop, but if they did, obviously they're going to go ahead and bet that hand if I check it to them. I don't decide to check though. I decide to go ahead and bet 123 here. And the reason for this is I'm up against a loose passive opponent. If they did check pocket aces on the flop, they're definitely going to call a bet here. Also somewhat possible to have queens, like I said, which is obviously, it might even raise when I do go ahead and bet. So I'm just trying to shovel money into this pot when I have what is the effective nuts. So I go ahead and bet 123. And then my opponent calls. Cool, we're loving that. So we are heads up to a river still. The river is the 3 of diamonds, pretty big brick. So I think I have a pretty easy decision now to go ahead and rip it all in. I'm hoping my opponent calls me off with either aces or pocket queens. So I go ahead and rip it all in, and then my opponent snap calls. I turn over my kings and they're good, and then my opponent was actually kind enough to show that he did have pocket aces. So obviously I ran hot today and I absolutely cooled my opponent in a massive 5-bet pot. I am curious about the pre-flop decision though. I really do wonder if anyone out there is actually going to advocate for folding pocket kings pre-flop. I've talked about how this 1-2 player pool has such a tight 4-bet and 5-bet range. When they do 5-bet here, is there any merit to just hero folding kings pre-flop because their range is so strong? Hop down in the comments and let me know. Is there ever merit to just folding pocket kings pre-flop, or no chance, we got to call with kings pre-flop? Hop down in the comments below and let me know what you think. That's going to wrap up another vlog for today. Thank you so much for watching as always. I I really do appreciate you sticking all the way to the end of the video. That actually really helps me out, believe it or not. And the other thing that really helps me out, if you've got time, go ahead and click that subscribe button. That will help the channel grow a bunch. And if you already have, thank you, you're the best. For now, I'm out of here. Peace.